We want to take you about 85 miles north and east now of Atlanta to Angelina Salcedo in White County. We know there have been trees down, power lines down. Talk to us about what you're seeing there. Do you feel a ramp up in the response and the challenges that warrant it?
Definitely a lot of challenges here for the EOC as they continue to try to respond to everybody that ends up making a 911 call or is currently going through a power outage. Just check the numbers for the power outages. Actually, so we went from 53% of people in this county being affected by power outages to an 82%. That has jumped dramatically. Obviously, that is a big change that we have seen here. We have continued to show you guys why that is happening. But really, let's take a look up so that you guys can see what these power lines look like now. You're seeing a lot of the icicles now coming down from the power lines. And we explained to you guys earlier as well that the power lines that are the highest to the sky, those are actually the ones with the highest voltage. So those are what these power crews are going to be replacing and trying to get up and running once again to bring people power here in White County. In the distance, we have the trees covered in the same amount of ice as well. And we've actually seen some trees fall in that tree line too. I can see one that is snapped. The top half of the tree has actually snapped. We took a little bit of a drive from our hotel. We did not go far. We probably went about like 5 or 8 minutes from here, got down the road and actually saw some trees that were down in the road, saw Helen police as well trying to reroute people and also clean up the trees that have been there. There are power crews that are out and currently working on the power lines as well, trying to get power back up before the sun comes down and then before we end up seeing another refreeze here. Besides the ice that we already have, we'll have and everything that's really wet here. There's a lot of puddling. The roads are not slick right now, but those roads will be slick as the temperatures drop, the sun goes down as well. So it's something that the EOC is concerned about. We're seeing more and more people on the roads here in Helen, also in Cleveland as well. But that's why the emergency management director is trying to have people get off of the roads before the sun goes down, because as the sun goes down, these roads are going to get colder and then that's going to refreeze. That leads us to the issues that we will probably see into tonight and then headed into tomorrow morning. The power line crews, the linemen that are here to repair the power here are saying that this second system of the storm and all of this rain that we're coming, that's what's going to create the problems overnight. So they're expecting to see some a wide basically group of power outages here in White County. They're also expecting for a lot of people to maybe struggle during that time. We just heard a tree crack in the distance. It actually fell right there in the tree line. So that is basically the story here in White County. It's going to continue overnight as well. And I think that we'll wake up to a lot of down trees and probably some down power lines too.
We could hear the crack of that tree as well, Angelina. And when you gave us that perspective with your photojournalist of the weight of the ice on the trees and that landscape, I just was thinking to myself, you know, you can understand why a power line or a tree would not be able to handle much more weight before it would crack or fall. And then we heard that crack. So Angelina, I just want you to reinforce some of those numbers because it's pretty staggering when you just talk about the jump from 50 to 80-some%. So 8 out of 10 people there being impacted. And like you said, the worst may yet come overnight if we do get more freezing of the moisture that's falling all around you.
Yeah, so when we started the day today, I think that we had probably around like 40% of people affected by these power outages. That number jumped up to 45, then it jumped up to 53, and now we're currently at that 82%. When we look at the numbers for White County, we're talking about 18,000 customers, just about, that have been affected, and a whole bunch of homes and businesses. So there's a decent amount of people that have been affected by this. And if we're at 82% right now, I can only imagine what that's going to look like as things refreeze and we continue to see outages throughout the night. We're also keeping in mind that we have 36,000 people here in White County, according to the emergency management director. And that's exactly why they are a little bit concerned about the fact that they still only have one person in their shelters. Their message to people is try and get to these shelters early. The reason being is that if you go without power for several days, that's when people start to panic and they start to get a little bit concerned, especially if they're in the rural areas. And then that's when they're going to try to go to the shelters. One, it could create a dangerous situation for the people that are trying to travel to get to the shelters, but two, they could easily become overwhelmed because they have too many people trying to get into these shelters and then they might reach capacity. So it's something that people definitely need to think about, especially if they have some elderly people that they know may be in more rural areas. Check on your neighbors is a message that they're definitely putting out there as well to make sure that everybody is in a safe place before the sun goes down tonight.
important point, as our meteorologists have been talking about overnight temperatures in the teens in a lot of communities, you know, heading in Monday, Tuesday, really cold days ahead. Angelina, that's really important perspective. Really appreciate you being up there and showing us what's happening. You know, it feels so far away, but we're just talking about 80 some miles from here in Midtown Atlanta.
Not too far at all.